So on the bottom left screen, you see me driving towards the beach last week, going towards Gold's Gym. I was doing another homeless encampment video. And ever since last week, they put up this fence here on the right, on the top screen you can see. But back then, last week, they already told those people they have to leave, and they had a big dump truck picking up all the stuff. So right now, I try to find out what happened and why everything got fenced off. So from what I heard on the news, and I've seen in newspapers, is that all those residents been fighting for a long time to try to get rid of all the people setting up the homeless encampment on this side. But I just talked to this fella over here on a skateboard, and he just told me, I want to show you this notice. It says, "Notice area closed for city operation. Please remove all personal property from the public right of the way. The city of Los Angeles will conduct maintenance." I don't really know if they're going to do maintenance or they're just going to fence up this place for a while so nobody can set up there. But this fellow just told me that they actually wanted to cut those trees. So I don't really know, but they removed a lot of homeless people from this stretch. So it's all the way down there to right here on the corner. So I don't really know if they're going to remove those people for good, or if it's just really maintenance. Welcome to Venice Beach, California, right here on Rose Avenue. Today, we're gonna talk with Nano, and he has something to say. Okay, we're talking to Nano right here, and we're right here on Rose Avenue. I told you that they closed down. Do you know anything about this area right here? Are they gonna close it for good, or?
There have been some fires recently, so they are using that as a reason to do tree trimming service.
Okay.
They're doing it all over Venice, but in this particular spot, it's because they're trying to get rid of the homeless on the area so that they can do something to it. I've overheard them talking about either doing landscaping or making this into a sidewalk or something. So I guess they're gonna do more than just tree trimming, but they're only talking to us about the tree trimming stuff.
And so they stopped right here. Is it going to be more over on this side, or is it just going to be
going all the way down to the very end of the golf course?
So basically everybody who is sleeping right here, they has to move, right?
There was somewhere around 80 people here, and they're kicking all of us off.
And is there any chance that you guys can go in a shelter, or do they provide anything for you guys? Or
mysteriously, right at the same time that this happened, they've also got new funding for hotels and motels. So they're basically telling us that, hey, whatever you can fit in 2 60-gallon bags, and we'll give you a voucher to go to a motel at least until January. They don't know how long after that, but we have to sacrifice most of our things in order for us to be able to take that voucher.
Can I ask you how long you've been homeless?
I've been a year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yeah.
And what causes the homeless, that you being homeless? Can I ask you that?
For me personally, it was a choice. I feel like most people are going to become homeless soon because of automation and AI and robotics are going to replace the human labor force, and all of our economic system is built off of human labor force. So once that happens, governments are slow to react to things, and I think that a lot of people are going to end up homeless because of that shift. So I kind of just wanted to get a head start. I'm kind of like a MacGyver engineer, kind of redneck engineering type kind of person. So I'm trying to figure out how to do like a bougie version of homelessness. Get my own solar heating set up, and then use that heat to generate power through a steam turbine, and figure out my own plumbing and recycling systems and stuff like that. I want to do a YouTube channel maybe, and make videos for people to watch for free, and provide free ebooks and shit, and stuff, so that people who follow me have someone who can help them with a path that'll help them live more comfortably. Because living homeless isn't easy at first, but once you adapt, it becomes easier. And also, I'd like to mention that throughout human history, there's always been homeless people. Like, we started off homeless. The fact of housing and that being as cheap as it is now, even though it's becoming $1 million, old houses now somehow. But this is a new concept since the 1950s. We're still experimenting with it. So people who sit there and live in houses and want to look down at us, I feel like it's contradictory to what history has always been.
And a lot of people ask me on my channel all the time, do all the homeless people live in California? Are they from California or do they come from all over the country?
To be honest, a lot of people are from other states now, because California is one of these states that is more progressive, and they try to be more adaptive and accepting to stuff like homelessness. There's a lot of services out here that, you know, people are provided with. And then plus, we're really thankful for a lot of the people who come down here and bring food and water on almost a daily basis in this particular spot.
So people actually stop by and help you out with food and stuff?
Like, there's a lot of waste, food waste that goes on in America alone. We're one of the highest countries that waste food in the world. And so a lot of the food that we get is food that would have gone to a landfill. I had a person who works at a restaurant last night. They dropped off food that was going to just get thrown away. And so we got to enjoy some restaurant food, which was nice. But I like the idea that people are trying to repurpose the food that would have gone thrown away to somebody who could use it. And it gives them, you know, a little bit of a charitable feel too. And I think human beings need that, where they feel like they're helping each other out. That makes us more of a community. And believe it or not, the homeless add a part to that.
Right now, there's a lot of homeless people in Venice. They gather right there on the boardwalk. Yeah. And I think because everybody has to leave here, this area right here, I think a lot of more people will go to Venice Beach.
Yeah, the thing, like right when COVID started and the beaches started getting closed, they were telling all the homeless people over there that they all had to get off the beach. And so a lot of them panicked, and they all just they picked up their stuff and they moved out of the beach area. And for the next week after that, you had homeless randomly trying to go all kinds of different directions and alleys and people's front yards, and like just trying to find the next place that they could go that was within the legal gray area that homelessness actually exists in right now. And it was causing a lot of problems, and it brings disorder every time that they pick up and move us too. And plus, I believe there's still a standing for us to not move right now, because if we get infected with COVID, we need a place where we can isolate ourselves from others so that we don't spread it. And when we have to pick up and move all these times, well, we run out of that option a lot.
A lot of people are afraid to talk to you. I just walked up to you. I don't know you, and I really appreciate you talking to people, because they want to know what's going on, but everybody's too afraid to walk up to you guys and talk to them, because there's a lot of mental issues with some homeless people. They're really aggressive.
That is a thing. I do call Venice Boardwalk the outdoor insane asylum, or outdoor, you know, as a joke. But that is a problem that's happening in America, is that a lot of our mental institutions are, you know, losing funding, or the people who are in them can't afford them anymore, or, you know, their families can't afford to pay for it because of COVID or something like that. And so a lot of the people who do have mental issues are getting thrown out onto the streets, and you know, they just have to fend for themselves. We aren't really community based. You know, there's a lot of us who know each other and we're friends, but there's not a leader and like a whole teamwork ideal whenever you're talking about homeless little communities and stuff. There needs to be, I think, because then we'll be a little bit more organized and it'll be less stress on the people who are residents. But, you know, a lot of them are thinking about just money a lot of the time. And something that homelessness has gotten me to really think about is the fact that $10 means a lot more to me than $1,000 means to a resident. And it makes me really value money again. Plus, trade and barter is like a lost art, you know? I never really understood the value of things until somebody else told me what they were before, but now I have to come up with my own assumed value of an item, and that makes me be a participant in the marketplace that we have. So there's a lot of unique little things that you learn out here, especially survival skills. You know, being able to fend for yourself gives you a unique kind of power. And you know, I want to build small, and this government won't let me. 500 square foot home, I think, is the minimum you can have. And, you know, I think I can live in smaller than that.
What some people ask me is, you know, you can be homeless, but you should be neat too. You know, sometimes when you go, you see a lot of stuff piled up next to it, stuff you don't need.
Yeah, that's true. But if you go into a person's house, there's a lot of stuff that isn't touched for years. That sits on shelves and they're just to look at. You know, and that's the same exact thing as those things that you see next to a person's tent. A lot of homelessness like to scavenge. Until you do it, you probably will never understand it, but going down in the alleys and looking at like somebody just got evicted, and like you're looking through the stuff that got thrown away, and you're like, you know, things that a homeless person takes out of a trash can is something that's not going to a landfill. And so they're recycling it, they're reusing it, and they are recyclers of civilization.
And I've seen videos about all those residents right here complaining to the city because of what's happening. I mean, you guys understand their situation as well as your situation.
Oh, yeah. Some people out here are super messy, and some people out here try to be as clean as they can, and they still don't meet the standards of what the people want. I think that, you know, like I said, trying to form a community with the homelessness, I think would change that a little bit. I wanted to do a sanctioned homeless block here. It was a new idea that I was coming up with right when this all started with the tree trimming service. But I wanted to try to see if we could turn ourselves into a community, provide services for ourselves like trash pickup, and bringing it down to the huge dumpster that's at the end of the street, so that the people who do parks and recreations don't have to do any of that stuff for us, and start providing things for ourselves. And then once we had a track record of starting to be cleaner and more organized and had a leader of our little group and stuff, I wanted to try to approach the local city government to try to talk about a sanctioned homeless block, where it's a legal document that states how many people we can have here, and like giving us like a ground rules of what we have to do here in order to meet the standards for that. But I didn't get to move forward with it.
I have one more question. The drug issue. They say a lot of homeless people are on meth, on drugs, and on other stuff. What is your experience? Is that true or?
True. Honestly,
it's true, yeah?
Honestly, it's true. But honestly, a human being should be able to do with their body what they want. You know, if they choose to do meth or they choose to do an opiate. I'm highly against opiates, by the way. I've had a lot of friends who have OD'd, and I've had to save them, and that experience is something that you can't really describe. And it bothers me every time. And I can't make my friends stop doing opiates. You know, it's something they ultimately have to make a choice to stop themselves. But there are other...
There's a plane, Santa Monica Airport. It's pretty loud.
Yeah, Santa Monica Airport's right over there.
Right over here.
I go by it sometimes too.
And it's so... You look over here, you see all those millionaires and rich people playing golf right here, and here people are just, you know, well, how can I call this? You know what I mean?
We're just living life. In a section of a block that was neglected. This was just a patch of dirt before we got to it, and now people live here, and they're trying to make it the best they can.
I mean, I interviewed a lot of people, and you sound like you're really intelligent, smart person, you know?
I'm articulated. I've been, you know, to advanced schooling.
But why would you choose a life like this if you can have like a nice place where you can lay down every night, you know, and it's warm and you have a shower?
I've always been the guy who could predict the trends. Like when Google started getting big, I was already in it, you know, and stuff like that. I've been doing that my whole life. And I don't know, the math just adds up to the point that corporations are going to incentivize automation and AI, because a robot's going to work 24/7. It's not going to bitch and complain about working. It's not going to ask for vacation. It's not going to get pregnant. And it's the cost of energy to pay for it instead of an actual paycheck. And they're nothing but incentivized to be able to transfer to that at some point in the next 10 years. And AI has gotten pretty sophisticated. You know, Google advertises the fact that its automated AI for your phone can make a call for you to a hair appointment and talk to the person and schedule an appointment for you for next week. And it would sound just like another human being. And the person couldn't even tell the difference if it was a human or an AI. And that's already where we're at right now. So what's not to say that, you know, all the jobs, and I guarantee you every single job a human being can do, an AI or a robot can do. There is not a job that isn't replaceable. We've seen them do art, we've seen them make music, all these things that people say that they can't do, they've already done. And that's just an infant version of an AI. They haven't reached their full capability yet.
Cool. And I really appreciate you talking to me, man. I was in myself a little bit worried to approach you guys, you know. You never know, but
some of us I would be worried about. But some of us, you know, are just normal people who are trying to figure out how to live.
Yeah. And is that okay with you that I put this on YouTube? Do I have your consent to do that?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right, man. I really appreciate you talking to me, and I wish you the best of luck, whatever you want to do in the future, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man. And check out this guy here. Woo! All right. Well, my friends from all over the world, this was it from Venice Beach, California. I hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up, push the notification bell, and subscribe to my channel. Support the homeless. Tschüssing!